Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Assign a specified, usually proper name to. They named their son David. Give or make a list of. Name individually. Give the names of. Give the name or identifying characteristics of. Refer to by name or some other identifying characteristic property. Many senators were named in connection with the scandal. Family based on male descent. He had no sons and there was no one to carry on his name. Determine or distinguish the nature of a problem or an illness through a diagnostic analysis. Charge with a function. Charge to be. She was named head of the committee. Identify as in botany or biology, for example. A defamatory or abusive word or phrase. A well-known or notable person. They studied all the great names in the history of France. Make reference to. His name was mentioned in connection with the invention. Create and charge with a task or function. A language unit by which a person or thing is known. His name really is George Washington. A person's reputation. He wanted to protect his good name. By the sanction or authority of. Halt in the name of the law. Mention and identify by name. Name your accomplices. Assign a specified, usually proper name to. Look on as or consider. Assign a specified, usually proper name to. Make a prediction about. Tell in advance. Order, request, or command to come. She was called into the director's office. Utter a sudden loud cry. Pay a brief visit. The mayor likes to call on some of the prominent citizens. The option to buy a given stock, or stock index or commodity future, at a given price before a given date. A demand by a broker that a customer deposit enough to bring his margin up to the minimum requirement. A demand especially in the phrase. The call of duty. A telephone connection. She reported several anonymous calls. A loud utterance, often in protest or opposition. Greet, as with a prescribed form, title, or name. She calls him by first name. Demand payment of a loan. Give the calls to the dancers for a square dance. Get or try to get into communication with someone by telephone. I tried to call you all night. The characteristic sound produced by a bird. Make a demand, as for a card or a suit or a show of hands. He called his trump. A brief social visit. Senior professors' wives no longer make afternoon calls on newcomers. A demand for a show of hands in a card game. After 2 raises there was a call. An instruction that interrupts the program being executed. Pascal performs calls by simply giving the name of the routine to be executed. A request. Many calls for Christmas stories. Ascribe a quality to or give a name of a common noun that reflects a quality. He called me a bastard. A special disposition, as if from a divine source, to pursue a particular course. A visit in an official or professional capacity. The pastor's calls on his parishioners. Call a meeting. Invite or command to meet. The 1C conference was called to discuss the final solution. Challenge somebody to make good on a statement, charge with or censure for an offense. He deserves to be called on that. Challenge the sincerity or truthfulness of. Call the speaker on a question of fact. Consider or regard as being. I would not call her beautiful. Declare in the capacity of an umpire or referee. Call a runner out. Indicate a decision in regard to. Call balls and strikes behind the plate. Lure by imitating the characteristic call of an animal. Make a stop in a harbor. The ship will call in Honolulu tomorrow. Order or request or give a command for. The unions called a general strike for Sunday. Order, summon, or request for a specific duty or activity, work, role. He was already called 4 times for jury duty. Read aloud to check for omissions or absentees. Require the presentation of for redemption before maturation. Rouse somebody from sleep with a call. I was called at 5 a.m. this morning. Send a message or attempt to reach someone by radio, phone, etc. Make a signal in order to transmit a message. Hawaii is calling. Sports, the decision made by an umpire or referee. He was ejected for protesting the call. Stop or postpone because of adverse conditions, such as bad weather. Call a football game. Utter a characteristic note or cry. Blue jays called to one another. Utter in a loud voice or announce. He called my name. Assign a specified, usually proper name to. Look on as or consider. Give or make a list of. Name individually. Give the names of. A database containing an ordered array of items, names or topics. The property possessed by a line or surface that departs from the vertical. The ship developed a list to starboard. Cause to lean to the side. Erosion listed the old tree. Enumerate. Tilt to one side. The ship listed to starboard. Include in a list. Am I listed in your register? Give the name or identifying characteristics of. Refer to by name or some other identifying characteristic property. Identify as in botany or biology, for example. Recognize as being. Establish the identity of someone or something. Conceive of as united or associated. Consider oneself as similar to somebody else. Consider to be equal or the same. Family based on male descent. Determine or distinguish the nature of a problem or an illness through a diagnostic analysis. Subject to a medical analysis. Put in order or neaten. Make the bed. Eliminate urine. Have a bowel movement. Institute, enact, or establish. Make laws. Create by artistic means. Make by combining materials and parts. Give certain properties to something. Don't make this into a big deal. Create or design, often in a certain way. Charge with a function. Charge to be. Induce to have sex. Head into a specified direction. Achieve a point or goal. Earn on some commercial or business transaction. Earn as salary or wages. How much do you make a month in your new job? Represent fictitiously, as in a play, or pretend to be or act like. She makes like an actress. Proceed along a path. Make one's way into the forest. The act of mixing cards haphazardly. Reach a goal. Make the first team. Organize or be responsible for. Have, throw, or make a party. Give rise to. Cause to happen or occur, not always intentionally. Make a stir. Make, formulate, or derive in the mind. Make an estimate. Reach a destination, either real or abstract. Engage in. Make love, not war. Cause to do. Cause to act in a specified manner. Prepare for eating by applying heat. Can you make me an omelet? A recognizable kind. What make of car is that? To compose or represent. This makes a fine introduction. Make or cause to be or to become. Make a mess in one's office. Create or manufacture a man-made product. Act in a certain way so as to acquire. Make friends. Add up to. 4 and 4 make 8. Amount to. This salary increase makes no difference to my standard of living. Appear to begin an activity. Assure the success of. A good review by this critic will make your play. Behave in a certain way. Make merry. Be or be capable of being changed or made into. He makes a great host. Be suitable for. Wood makes good furniture. Calculate as being. I make the height about 100 feet. Carry out or commit. Make a mistake. Cause to be enjoyable or pleasurable. Make my day. Change from one form into another. Make water into wine. Compel or make somebody or something to act in a certain way. Heat makes you sweat. Consider as being. Constitute the essence of. Clothes make the man. Develop into. He will make a splendid father. Favor the development of. Practice makes the winner. Form by assembling individuals or constituents. Gather and light the materials for. Make a fire. Make by shaping or bringing together constituents. Make a dress. Perform or carry out. Make a decision. Reach in time. Undergo fabrication or creation. This wool makes into a nice sweater. Put forward. Nominate for appointment to an office or for an honor or position. The President nominated her as head of the Civil Rights Commission. Charge with a function. Charge to be. Create and charge with a task or function. Nominate a committee. Propose as a candidate for some honor. Give a description of. Identify as in botany or biology, for example. To give an account or representation of in words. Discreet Italian police described it in a manner typically continental. Make a mark or lines on a surface. Discover or determine the existence, presence, or fact of. Identify as in botany or biology, for example. Get to know or become aware of, usually accidentally. Make known to the public information that was previously known only to a few people or that was meant to be kept a secret. Find unexpectedly. Make a discovery. The story is false, so far as I can discover. Make a discovery, make a new finding. Röntgen discovered X-rays. See for the first time, make a discovery. Who discovered the North Pole? Identify as in botany or biology, for example. Detect with the senses. Mark as different. We distinguish several kinds of maple. Be a distinctive feature, attribute, or trait, sometimes in a very positive sense. His modesty distinguishes him from his peers. Make conspicuous or noteworthy. A coral reef off the southern coast of Florida. Identify as in botany or biology, for example. Basketball. A space, including the foul line, in front of the basket at each end of a basketball court, usually painted a different color from the rest of the court. He hit a jump shot from the top of the key. Any of 24 major or minor diatonic scales that provide the tonal framework for a piece of music. United States lawyer and poet who wrote a poem after witnessing the British attack on Baltimore during the War of 1812. The poem was later set to music and entitled, The Star-Spangled Banner, 1779 to 1843. Mechanical device used to wind another device that is driven by a spring, as a clock. The central building block at the top of an arch or vault. Serving as an essential component. A winged often one-seed indehiscent fruit as of the ash or elm or maple. A generic term for any device whose possession entitles the holder to a means of access. A safe deposit box usually requires 2 keys to open it. A kilogram of a narcotic drug. They were carrying 2 keys of heroin. A lever, as in a keyboard, that actuates a mechanism when depressed. A list of answers to a test. Some students had stolen the key to the final exam. A list of words or phrases that explain symbols or abbreviations. Harmonize with or adjust to. Key one's actions to the voter's prevailing attitude. Metal device shaped in such a way that when it is inserted into the appropriate lock, the lock's mechanism can be rotated. Pitch of the voice. He spoke in a low key. Provide with a key. We were keyed after the locks were changed in the building. Regulate the musical pitch of. Something crucial for explaining. The key to development is economic integration. Vandalize a car by scratching the sides with a key. His new Mercedes was keyed last night in the parking lot. Identify as in botany or biology, for example. A defamatory or abusive word or phrase. Descriptive word or phrase. One of the elements that collectively form a system of numeration. Judge to be probable. Be or play a part of or in. Elections figure prominently in every government program. A diagram or picture illustrating textual material. A decorative or artistic work. The property possessed by a sum or total or indefinite quantity of units or individuals. The figure was about 1,000. A well-known or notable person. She is an important figure in modern music. Alternative names for the body of a human being. Imagine, conceive of, see in one's mind. Language used in a figurative or non-literal sense. Make a mathematical calculation or computation. A combination of points and lines and planes that form a visible palpable shape. A model of a bodily form, especially of a person. He made a figure of Santa Claus. An amount of money expressed numerically. A figure of $17 was suggested. A predetermined set of movements in dancing or skating. She made the best score on compulsory figures. A unitary percept having structure and coherence that is the object of attention and that stands out against a ground. The impression produced by a person. He cut a fine figure. Understand. He didn't figure her. A well-known or notable person. Make a more or less disguised reference to. Give heed to. Make reference to. A public promotion of some product or service. Summon into action or bring into existence, often as if by magic. Put forward for consideration or discussion. Bring up an unpleasant topic. Raise from a lower to a higher position. Cause to load, an operating system, and start the initial processes. Make reference to. Look after a child until it is an adult. Bring up children. Cause to come to a sudden stop. Promote from a lower position or rank. Refer to for illustration or proof. A short note recognizing a source of information or of a quoted passage. Advance evidence for. Repeat a passage from. Call in an official matter, such as to attend court. Refer to. Make reference to. Commend. He was cited for his outstanding achievements. A short note recognizing a source of information or of a quoted passage. The article includes mention of similar clinical cases. An official recognition of merit. Although he didn't win the prize, he did get special mention. A remark that calls attention to something or someone. She made frequent mention of her promotion. Make mention of. Make reference to. His name was mentioned in connection with the invention. Commend. Be relevant to. There were lots of questions referring to her talk. Seek information from. Refer to your notes. Have as a meaning. Make reference to. Send or direct for treatment, information, or a decision. Refer a patient to a specialist. Think of, regard, or classify under a subsuming principle or with a general group or in relation to another. This plant can be referred to a known species. Use a name to designate. Christians refer to the Mother of Jesus as the Virgin Mary. Create and charge with a task or function. Assign a duty, responsibility or obligation to. He was appointed deputy manager. Furnish. A beautifully appointed house. Form or compose. These constitute my entire belonging. Create and charge with a task or function. Set up or lay the groundwork for. To compose or represent. Trade name of a company that produces musical recordings. The artists and repertoire department of a recording label is responsible for finding new talent. Pronounce judgment on. They labeled him unfit to work here. Attach a tag or label to. Label these bottles. A brief description given for purposes of identification. The label modern is applied to many different kinds of architecture. An identifying or descriptive marker that is attached to an object. A radioactive isotope that is used in a compound in order to trace the mechanism of a chemical reaction. Assign a label to. Designate with a label. These students were labeled, learning disabled. Distinguish, an element or atom, by using a radioactive isotope or an isotope of unusual mass for tracing through chemical reactions. Distinguish, as a compound or molecule, by introducing a labeled atom. Specify individually. Place on a list of items. Specify individually. Place on a list of items. Itemize one's tax deductions. Recite in elocution. Render verbally. Recite a poem. Narrate or give a detailed account of. Specify individually. The doctor recited the list of possible side effects of the drug. Repeat aloud from memory. She recited a poem. Determine the number or amount of. Specify individually. She enumerated the many obstacles she had encountered. Have as a meaning. Multi denotes many. Make known. Make an announcement. She denoted her feelings clearly. Be a sign or indication of. Her smile denoted that she agreed.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.